Hello and welcome. I'm Stephanie with Monarch Productivity. Monarch Productivity works to increase your productivity so that you can do more good in the world. In today's episode, we're going to talk about two daily routines that can transform your workday: the workday startup routine and the workday shutdown routine. Now, we all have ways that we start our workday and that we end our workday. We all have these already. The question is whether you've actually thought about it. It's possible that you haven't been very intentional about those routines. For example, do you start your workday by opening your email and then discover your day takes off in a completely different direction than what you had hoped? If that's the case, let's see if we can disrupt that cycle with a more thoughtful workday startup routine. So, the workday startup is the routine that sets the tone for your entire day. Because of that, I'd argue that you should not start it off by opening up your email, which lets others control your day. Taking 10 to 15 minutes to be intentional before you open your email can be a game changer. It's all about getting your mind and body in the right state to tackle your tasks and projects. Here are some things that you might include in your workday startup routine. A moment of morning mindfulness. If you begin your day with a few minutes of mindfulness, you can really focus on the equity goals that you're trying to reach. Think about the good that you're doing out in the world. This can really help clear your mind, it can reduce stress, and improve your focus. Just a few deep breaths and moments of silence can make a huge amount of difference. And this could take a minute. So the next step you might want to do is prioritization. We talked last week about the daily big three, and so this is the perfect time to set your daily big three and find the time in your schedule when you're going to get those big three things done. Another thing you might do as part of your workday startup is to set an equity big win. So you've had your moment of meditation, you've set your big three, and you can imagine yourself at the end of the day. Here you are at the start. Imagine yourself at the end of the day, and you're looking back on your day and you're feeling really great about it. You're feeling like you really made a difference in the world today. What was it that you did during the day that really made that difference? And what would you need to do this morning now in order to make that successful end of the day happen? Maybe it's getting one of your big three things done. Maybe it's something completely different. But you want to think about what that big win would look like, and then what do you need to do to make that big win a reality. I like to pre-write out my big win at the beginning of the day, and then look back at the end and say, did I meet it? Well, sometimes I meet it entirely, yay. Sometimes I sort of meet it. Sometimes I completely miss it. But that gives me something to think about at the end of the day. Why did or didn't I succeed in the big win that I was hoping to project? Another thing that you might want to include is time blocking. This is where you block out specific time to do the things that you want to do, and then make sure that during that time you're focused and intentional. This is a great thing to do with your daily big three. Maybe set aside, 3 specific hours. Maybe set aside a really big three task block. There's lots of data out there that says that when you get interrupted, it takes a long time to sort of get refocused. So having blocks of time where you work uninterrupted, if you can manage that, is a really great way to get things done. And then just a little health thing that you might want to include in your workday startup is to drink a glass of water, because staying hydrated is super important. And we often forget to drink water when we're busy drinking coffee first thing in the morning. So that's something you might want to add as well. If you have other things that you like to add in your routine, put those in the comments down below and share those with everybody. So at the end of the day, you do a workday shutdown routine that's not a whole lot different from the startup, being really intentional about how you wrap up your day as opposed to a mad scramble to close those last few emails, or just realizing if you don't get on the road, you're not going to be able to pick up your child or your dog, or beat the traffic. And so rushing out without any actual form or closure of the day, or a sense that, well, you're going to rush out now, but when you get home, you'll start back up again. And even if you're working from home, sometimes it can be even harder to end the day and have a formal ending to the day. But that it's actually, I think, even more important that you go through some steps that when you're done, you step out of your work area and you put work away. Otherwise, as you may know, it can really sort of take over your whole life and end up working all the time. So, here's a couple of things that you might do as part of your end of the day routine. You might review your day, and I strongly recommend it. Take just a couple of minutes to review what you accomplished, celebrate your wins, reflect on what might be improved. I recommend that you write those reflections down, either in a journal, and it can either be physical or digital, whatever makes you the most comfortable. Then clean your workspace. I will confess this is one I need to work on. Having a clutter-free workspace really helps to have more clarity in your mind when you are working. So by tidying up at the end of the day, you set yourself up for a nice, smooth, clutter-free start to the next day. Another element is planning for tomorrow. Uh, review your task list, figure out whether you can actually get all those things done, and if not, move them to other days. A lot of people I know like to set their daily three in the evening instead of in the morning, and so this helps you know what you need to have in place. Maybe there's a different time you would start the day when you know what your daily big three are. So that's a thing that you could do in the evening. And then another thing that you might do is shut down all your technology, or at least all your work-related technology. Turn off your work-related notifications on your devices. Give yourself permission to unplug. It can really help create some separation between your workday and your home life. So, this week's challenge is to document your routines. Like we said, you have them. Let's just write them down and, item by item, and consider the elements and which ones are helpful and which ones aren't so helpful. Then select at least one item to improve on. For example, if you usually start your day with email, try making opening your email the last step in your workday startup routine instead of the first step of your workday startup routine. Does that small change make a difference to your day? Use the comment area below to share how the challenge went for you. And if you'd like support reaching that goal, I'd encourage you to join the Monarch Productivity community. The Monarch Productivity community, we go into a lot more depth on this topic, and you get to learn and get support from other people who are working on accomplishing goals to help make the world a better place. Your first month is free, which gives you plenty of time to tackle our Goals for Good challenge, which is a course for Monarch Productivity members that sets you up for success no matter where you are in your productivity journey. I hope you'll join us. The link to sign up is in the show notes. Thanks, and I'll see you next week.